Welcome back to Yo Rabbi. As always, I'm your host, Rabbi Joshua Corber. This week I'd like to follow up on a question that was asked 2 previous weeks ago. That was, is the whole cow kosher? And I mentioned that the gid hanasheh, the sciatic nerve, is not. Why is the sciatic nerve not kosher? Well, this is a fascinating case because this is one of the only halakhot, the only Jewish laws that actually come out of a very early narrative in the book of Genesis. You will recall that in Parshat Vayishlach, Yaakov, Jacob, wrestles with an angel. Now he does this the night before he believes his brother Esav is coming to kill him. And Yaakov sends his whole family away so that they'll be in less danger. And he's left alone before he crosses the river Yabok, and along comes this angel and wrestles with him. Very mysterious. Now some commentators say this was actually the archangel of his brother, the spiritual entity watching over his brother Esav that was coming to kill him. And others say it was a part of himself that he was wrestling with. Either way, this is an angel that he's wrestling with, and he wins, but in the course of the fight, the angel manages to get a hold of his hip, of his leg, and breaks his hip socket or wrenches his hip socket and injures him in his sciatic nerve. And for the rest of his life, Yaakov walked with a limp. And then the Bible says, therefore, the Israelites, the Jewish people, do not eat the sciatic nerve. Now we can get deeper into the case of him wrestling with an angel, but I want to focus on the sciatic nerve and why the Jews don't eat the sciatic nerve, because Yaakov injured his sciatic nerve in this spiritual and physical struggle with an entity that was not quite of this world, but enough of this world to physically injure him. And it's very mysterious, but if you're wondering why, my perspective is that there is a deep relationship between the spiritual and the physical. And negative emotions, which are spiritual, right? Negative emotions get embedded into the human body. If you've ever heard of body talking, this is a lot of what the therapy that they do. They listen to different parts of your body, and over the course of your life, there are negative traumatic experiences that get stored in the body and released, and then eventually get expressed as dis-ease. And I recall learning from Guru Singh in Los Angeles, who runs Yoga West LA. He's a student of Yogi Bhajan, who brought Kundalini Yoga to the United States. Guru Singh taught a lot about this. He taught extensively about releasing negativity from the body and repairing and optimizing what he calls the emotional infrastructure, which he believes yoga is the key to. And if you look at, for example, the pigeon pose, this is very much centered on the hip. And I can tell you from experience in doing pigeon pose that it releases a lot of negativity from the body. This is highly therapeutic, and I highly recommend yoga and breathing and any kind of therapy that can help release negativity from the body. Even just physical exercise, going to the gym, it's got to be done. Now, there's this other interesting point that I want to touch on, which is kind of sad and kind of fascinating, which is that there has to be a halakhah about this, that there has to be a law about this, that we don't want to hold on to the pain that Yaakov had, right? We want to remove the gid hanasheh, we want to remove the sciatic nerve, which represents Yaakov's pain and struggle. We want to remove that from our diet symbolically by not eating that part of the cow. And yet, we don't manage to let go of our pain because we have to remember. There's so many contradictions and paradoxes between remembering and forgetting. We want to let go of it, but we have to remember not to eat this part so that we let go. This is not the only case in which this happens. Amalek is another case, and I can talk about that another time. But to me, it's tragic that while there is a halakhah that's spiritually meant to prevent us from continuing a legacy of pain, Jews still manage today to be attached to a narrative of victimhood and pain. And that's what Eckhart Tolle calls the pain body. And it's a real struggle with our people. This is one thing that we are struggling with, and therefore I encourage everyone to try to release negativity and negative traumatic emotions which are spiritually damaging and physically damaging. I encourage everyone to take on a habit of daily breathing, meditation, yoga, exercise, something. It's good for you and it's good for your soul. Have a great week.